Hello everybody and welcome back to Sailing Madness. Now in this episode something a little bit different for you because as you can see I'm packing my bags. I'm leaving my boat, but only temporarily. And that's because I've been given a bit of a unique opportunity to help crew someone else's boat as they move it from the UK down to the Algarve in Portugal. Now I was planning on taking my boat to Scotland over the next couple of weeks, but I've decided to put that on hold in order to sail across the Bay of Biscay and the Atlantic coast of Portugal, because that sailing area has always been on my sailing bucket list, and I think this is a bit of a too good of an opportunity to miss. Now it's a bit complicated how I stumbled across this crewing opportunity, but if you're watching these videos from when I started, you'll know I used to keep my boat at Pt1. Now when I was there I was invited onto the Pt1 berth holders WhatsApp group, and even though I left that marina months ago, they never kicked me off that WhatsApp group. I still see the posts from people in that marina. And one of the posts that I noticed only yesterday was from one of the berth holders there looking for crew to take his boat from the UK down to Portugal. And I thought, do you know what, this is too much of a good opportunity to miss, so I got in touch with him, and to cut a very long story short, I'm packing my bags now to join him on his boat. Now, to add a little bit of a twist to this, he has actually already left Pt1. He left over a week ago and he made it across the Irish Sea down to Cork in Southern Ireland, and he's been waiting for about 5 days for the right weather window to continue his journey south. Now during that time the two crew members he had have decided that they've run out of time, they need to return back to work, and so they've left the boat. Hence the reason why he put the message on the WhatsApp group yesterday. So I've now got to come here today in a bit of a rush to pack my bags because I'm flying from Liverpool to Cork tonight. My flight leaves at 7 o'clock this evening. It's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I've got to pack my bags very quickly, get everything together and get to the airport and fly out to Cork tonight to meet the crew of the boat. There's going to be myself, another crew member and the skipper, and we are going to be leaving because the right weather window is upon us. We're leaving first thing tomorrow morning. It's all a bit of a mad rush and I still can't believe it's happening. So you're coming along with me as well, because I've checked with the skipper, he doesn't mind me filming and he doesn't mind me putting the footage on YouTube. So we're on a bit of a sailing adventure now. We are leaving my boat for a week, 10 days, maybe a bit longer, and we're crewing someone else's boat down to Portugal. Now I don't know much about this boat, but all I do know is it's not what you would call or describe a typical sailing boat. It's a motor sailor, and that's really all I know. I'm going to find out what this boat is like tonight when I get to the marina. So it's all adding a bit of intrigue to this what could be very interesting adventure. Right, this is the boat I'm crewing down to Portugal. Wish me luck. Now there is going to be 3 of us on the boat. There's the skipper and myself and one other crew member. So I met them all for the first time last night. Very nice people. Now the owner did tell me what it is. I can't remember what he said it was called, but I know it was built in 1976. Real classic old sailing boat, or motor sailor. So yeah, this is going to be an adventure and I'm looking forward to it.
There's the boat coming up towards you now.
It's goodbye to the Royal Cork Yacht Club, the oldest yacht club in the world apparently. I've only been here 15 hours or so, but it's been well worth a visit. Another nice boat over there. Well, it's 10:30, I'm on the first watch tonight, and it's going really well. We've been going for about 8 hours now. I'm on watch till midnight. We're doing it in 2-hour shifts. Seeing some dolphins. Sea's been very, very unsettled. There's a lot of swell. It's calming down a little bit now. But here we go. My first watch. Right, well, it's the start of day 2, and I'm just starting my second watch of the journey. We're doing it in 2-hour sections, so because there's 3 of us, you basically do 2 hours on and then you get 4 hours off. So I've just had 4 hours off and got a little bit of sleep. The sea has calmed down a bit, but there is absolutely no wind, so we're motoring, and we've been motoring pretty much non-stop since we left Cork yesterday afternoon. So the plan is now we're going to scoot round the Isles of Scilly. We won't be there for another 10-12 hours. Get some mobile phone signal, catch up on the weather forecast, and the plan is, if the winds are picking up, we're going to keep going. If it looks like it's going to be like this for a couple of days, then we're going to call into Brest in France and wait for the winds before we cross the Bay of Biscay. Well, you know, I've got to say, fair play to the Perkins diesel engine that is on this boat. I assume it's the original engine, and if it is 50 years old, and so far that engine hasn't missed a beat. Good old English quality. A bit like the old buses I used to restore. British engineering at its best in the 50s and 60s and the 70s, built to last. There won't be many Yanmar engines in 50-60 years time left running that were built today. Right, well, I'm on my third watch now since leaving Cork. It's day 2, lunchtime, and as you can see, and as you can probably hear, the engine is still on, but that's because there is not a breath of wind. The sea right now is like a pond. Did you see that? That was just incredible. I've never seen so many dolphins. Just fills your heart with joy, doesn't it? They're such beautiful creatures. I want them to come back. There they go, look, they're over there. You know, we've just been having a discussion because we don't quite know what sea we're in. Now, obviously we know where we are because the skipper is very good at doing the chart work and everything. And we've been looking on the electronic navigation because we've got the Irish Sea that way, we've got the English Channel that way, and we've got the North Atlantic that way. We're not quite sure where those 3 converge and where one begins and the other ends. So I'm not sure if we're in the North Atlantic, whether we're kind of on the outskirts of the English Channel, or whether we're still in the Irish Sea. All I do know is we're heading towards the Scilly Isles, and there's still no wind. Well, as the day's gone on, the sea's got calmer and calmer. A little bit more cloud in the sky now, but it's still a lovely day. Lovely day to be out on the water. Not enough wind for sailing, but right here at the front of the boat you can't hear that diesel engine. You can just hear the waves crashing against the bow of the boat. It's beautiful. Right, well, I'm speaking really quietly because the other crew members are down below having a sleep. We're at the end of day number 2. Everything's going really well. and I'm on the 10 p.m. to midnight watch, and we're just going through the shipping lanes at the moment, so I've got to be pretty careful. I've got to keep my eyes open. I'll show you on the map in just a moment. It's been a good day today. Highlight of the day by far, those beautiful dolphins that came and swam with the boat just as I was on the bow with the camera. Perfect timing. Right, let's show you on the map where we are. So here's the traffic separation sign. So we've got to be careful of traffic coming this way. And then if I just scroll out, you can see exactly where we are in the world. That's where we started. We're heading down towards Brest. Then after that we're heading down the Bay of Biscay. And then we're stopping down here somewhere in Portugal. It's also very dark outside tonight. There's no moon at all. You can hardly see 10 feet in front of the boat. Right, well, good morning everybody. It is 5 a.m. on the start of day 3 of our little trip from Ireland down to Portugal. And as you can probably see behind me, the sea is dead calm again. Once again, we've been motoring all night, no sailing at all so far in this trip. So I'm on shift between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. this morning, and it's probably one of the best shifts to do overnight because you get to see the sunrise. I'll spin you around and show you in a moment. So I think the plans at the moment, it looks like we're going to be heading into Brest because we do have a little bit of a niggly engine problem. Every so often the revs just automatically build up on the engine and then come back down again for no apparent reason whatsoever. Personally, I think it's a problem with the fuel. I think it's the fuel pump that's causing the problem there. So rather than risk going all the way down to Portugal and crossing the Bay of Biscay with a potential problem with the engine, I think we're going to pull into Brest and maybe just give the engine a little rest for 24 hours or so. If we can find an engineer, ask him a couple of questions. I don't think he'll be able to fix it, but he might be able to give us a little bit of advice. So that's the plan at the moment. So behind the camera, if I just spin you around, behind there, that's the English Channel. You've got the UK kind of over that way and France kind of over this way. So we're heading south now, so we're going in the right direction. But how long we're going to stay at Brest for, or if indeed we might change our mind again in the next couple of hours, we'll see. The rest of the crew are having a nice little sleep. So when we all gather at 8 o'clock and we'll make a final decision then. But it's just a bit alarming really how the engine revs just suddenly go up for a couple of seconds and then come back down again automatically without anybody touching anything. So I'm not really happy with that. I think we need to go and get that looked at, but we'll see. I think we're about to be visited by dolphins again. Look at this. Well, that was short and sweet. I didn't go forward up to the bow because, oh, I can see them, they are down there. Yeah, they're playing with the bow now, I think. I'm not going to go forward because I'm the only one up, so if I go in, no one will know. But I think they've gone. I think they just swam straight past us. See, they're over this side. There they are, look, they're behind us. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera. They're about 100 metres behind us. Right, well, it's been 24 hours or so since I last did some videoing, and it's been quite an eventful 24 hours or so. As you can see, I'm on watch on my own. The skipper and the other crew member are down below having a kip, and that's because everybody on board is totally shattered. I mean, basically what happened is at 1 o'clock in the morning last night, or this morning, the engine decided to give up, and so we were drifting in the middle of the Bay of Biscay with no power and no wind to sail. What wind there was coming from the southwest, which is the direction we wanted to go in. So we were drifting around until it got light, and then we decided to have a little look at see what the problem was, and found out that it was a blocked fuel filter. So got that fixed and we're underway again, but it's delayed us by a good 15 hours. A Coruña is our next stop, and then after that we're heading round the northern coast of Spain and heading down the Portuguese coast into Orca territory to deliver the boat to Portugal. But as you can see, still lovely conditions out here. Despite the hiccup of the engine failing in the middle of the night last night, still loving it. Still having a great time. Oh, and don't forget, if you're enjoying this episode, please hit that thumb and give me a like. And if you've not done so already, please subscribe to the channel. The more likes my episodes get and the more subscribers my channel gets, the more YouTube puts this channel in front of people that may not have found me yet. And it really does help me grow. So please, if you're enjoying this so far, please hit that like and hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you so much. Right, well, here we are then. I'm on the 10 p.m. to midnight watch. Everybody else is down below having a sleep, so I'm trying to be nice and quiet so I don't wake them up. And so far, since we replaced the fuel filter on the engine, it's been, fingers crossed, absolutely running as sweet as a nut, which is great news. Right, I'll show you on the map where we are and what's going on in just a moment, but first of all, had a most amazing sunset a couple of hours ago. Beautiful sun going down over the horizon, dolphins swimming in the foreground, and the sea was flat calm. The Bay of Biscay is renowned for being a really rough piece of water, but it's been anything but over the last couple of days. Very, very little wind around. Obviously that's because we haven't been able to do any sailing, but it's been pretty cool. Still really enjoying this trip, it's going really well. Right, let's show you on the map where we are and what's going on. Okay, so this is it, this is where we are. UK, France, Spain. We'll just zoom in now. This little triangle, as you know, is exactly where we are. Now, this is the interesting bit. Now you see these lines here? This is where the depth of the Bay of Biscay goes from around 100 metres deep right down to over 4,000 metres deep. So this is the ridge area that runs all the way across the Bay of Biscay, and it's this underwater cliff that creates a lot of the rough conditions in the bay, because obviously when the tide's coming in, the water's coming in this way, it hits that underwater cliff and it's only got one way to go, and that's up. So on the surface it causes all sorts of big waves and everything, so we've been lucky that we haven't had any of that, because obviously there's no wind. So that's where we are, that's where we're going. Here's Acuna down here, so this is where we're heading for, and we should be there Monday evening, I'm told. It's now Saturday evening, so we've got about 48 hours to go before we get into Spain. I can't wait to get off the boat and go and have a beer. Okay, so if you thought that our transit across the Bay of Biscay was all beautiful sunsets, calm seas and interaction with dolphins, well, today I'm afraid we've been well and truly brought back down to reality, because there's been some fairly strong winds right on the nose, gusting up to sort of 20 knots. We've got 1.5 to 2 metre seas, and I think because this is an old boat, it slams into the wave and it's a really uncomfortable ride. You're being thrown around all over the place. Now I know on all boats you're going to get thrown around all over the place in sea conditions like this, but I think, and I don't know why, but obviously modern boats, they tend to slice through the water a lot better than what this boat is doing. It's big, it's old, it's heavy, it's got a bloody great keel, so of course it's going to be sort of lumbering through the water. But I'm still enjoying it, I'm still having a good time. It's just going to be fairly rough and fairly uncomfortable, difficult to sleep for the next 24 hours or so as we get closer to the Spanish coast. But it's also slowed us right down as well. We're only doing just about 2.2 knots at the moment, whereas before in the calmer seas we were pushing through at sort of 4.5, 5 knots. So it's a real case of holding on. And I know what you're thinking, it's probably nowhere near as bad as what it looks on camera as what it is in real life, and lots of other sailing YouTube channels have said the same thing, that the camera doesn't do the roughness justice. It probably looks so much nicer and more calmer and more manageable and easier on camera than what it is for me sitting here right now, trust me. Today has without a doubt been the worst ever day I've had on a sailing boat. The sea has been really choppy. This afternoon we were dealing with 3 metre swells, the boat's been pitching and yawing and rocking and rolling all over the place. Is that right word? I don't know. Anyway, none of us have had any sleep. We're all very, very tired. The good news is the winds are dying down, so hopefully the swell will die down as well overnight. So tomorrow should be a much better, calmer day. So I'm trying to hold a camera and a light and hold on for dear life at the same time is rather difficult. I think I need a couple of different pairs of hands. Well, the sun is slowly starting to rise behind me, and it's the morning after my moan the night before, and as you can see, the sea is a lot calmer. We are not far an hour away from La Coruña, and we should be in by lunchtime today. Happy days. Can't wait to get a shower, can't wait to get some decent food, and can't wait to walk on land again. But just over there you can see the mountains of northern Spain, and our destination is further around the coast. Right, so as you can see, we have arrived. We are here in La Coruña in northern Spain, and I'm quite pleased to be back on land. It took us, what did it take us? Was it 5 days or 6 days? I can't remember. Anyway, it took us too long. It took longer than expected. Let's leave it at that. I had a couple of problems on the way down. Didn't get it on camera, didn't film it, but the engine conked out 3 times because of blocked fuel filters. Basically they're blocking because there's so much shit in the fuel tank. So we need to find chandlers to replace those filters that we've used. We need to resupply. That's what we're going to be doing today. But first of all, the most important job is I'm heading to the shower block, because I do know it's been over a week since I had a shower, and that's just minging, isn't it? There's only so much of a human body you can clean on board a boat without a shower using baby wipes. It's just not the same. Do you know what? I cannot begin to tell you how good it feels to have had a shower and a shave. Oh, I feel human again. It's absolutely wonderful. It's been a week since I showered. That's absolutely shocking. And Mum, I know you watch my videos. I know you'd be disgusted at me because you brought me up better than that. I do apologise. And I remember over the months watching various YouTube sailing channels and watching the presenter of that channel letting their personal hygiene go to absolute ruin when they've been on a passage. The hair is a mess, they got facial hair growing all over the place, and that's just the women. But I did make a promise to myself that I wouldn't actually do that when I did a long distance passage, and here I am on my first ever long distance passage, and I've let myself go to rack and ruin. But I feel now I'm ready to start the day. We've got to find a chandler's, we've got to find a supermarket, got to get those jobs done today, and then the morning as we leave in a couple of days time, we'll be filling the boat up with fuel and we'll be ready for our leg number 2 down to Portugal. Remember, if you have enjoyed this episode so far, please remember, give me a like, hit that thumb, and if you've not done so already, please subscribe. You can do both of those for free, and they really do help the channel grow, so thank you in advance. Right, let's get back to the boat. Let's start the day.